Good morning and welcome to Rules. I understand that there are numerous committees that will be meeting today, so we'll probably have a few bills to talk about tomorrow, but we don't have anything new that wasn't on the calendar yesterday. But we do have some members that showed up today to talk about their bills, so we'll listen to them. Chairman Welch.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members of the Rules Committee. I have before you House Bill 91. It's the first one under modified open rule. This legislation is requested by the Department of Community Health. They are asking to modify and this is to go back and amend what was in Senate Bill 406. There was a conflict between 406 and Senate Bill 316, where we added the Wrap Back program to the statutes of the state of Georgia. Each agency may subscribe to the program. They don't have to. There's no mandate. It's optional to each agency. And in this context, DCH is asking to subscribe for their, under Section 1, for licensing for hospital construction, under Section 2, for those that are holding personnel files for long-term care background checks, and in Section 3, for those that are on the caregiver registry. And those are the three sections, and that's what the bill will accomplish if it goes to the floor and is approved by both chambers and the governor. Any questions?
Who's 34? Chairman of Frustration? No, it's not you. Leader Trammell. Okay.
I can hear you if you talk. Just go ahead and.
How many agencies do not have this option with respect to the lifetime fingerprint therapy under Georgia law?
How many agencies do not? Well, only those agencies that subscribe. So it's an open position. In other words, it's codified. We codified it last year to allow agencies to subscribe. Right now, DBHDD, Department of Human Services, for licensing of child care facilities, as well as some of the departments within or agencies. Sorry, it's the divisions of the Department of Community Health, and I think that those are the three that so far have subscribed. No, DECAL is also authorized. The system is not built yet. GBI is working on building that system out, and that will be a funding issue in this budget.
Other questions? Don't see any. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman Belton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of this committee. I bring before you a House Bill 26 and modified structured rules, a psychology compact that the Department of Defense is asking for. Again, 7 states have already enacted this compact. It's a brand new compact. If we were to join it, they need another state that would be the next state, and we would actually start the compact if it was created. There's a lot of questions about this bill yesterday. I hope I can answer some of them. The first one is the educational requirements for all psychologists in America are not the same. However, if a psychologist wanted to join this compact in practice in Georgia, again, he could only do it for 30 days face-to-face or with the telemedicine. He would have to get a e-passport. He would have to join this compact voluntarily, and in that case, he would be just as qualified as any psychologist in Georgia by statute. There is a background check is required, and also the compact is required to tell the Georgia board if there's any bad actors out there. If someone was fired in Utah, they would have to tell Georgia that, and then Georgia, of course, would not allow them to join this compact. Unlike the nursing compact that was introduced last year with the 7 because it cost about $500,000, the database is already in place. So there's no requirement for any new additional dollars as such right now. Now, each psychologist would have to pay a $400 fee the first time, and then also after that, a yearly $100 fee in order to join the compact. Again, the compact is voluntary. If you're a psychologist in Utah, you don't automatically allowed to go in Georgia. You have to volunteer for that. You have to put your credentials up for the compact to see. You have to buy this passport in order to telemedicine in Georgia. It's also want you to be aware that there's too few psychologists in Georgia. There's not too many. There's too few psychologists in America, actually. It's not like we have too many psychologists. As you know, the mental health is a situation the governor is talking about, especially with our children. So it's not like we're putting psychologists in Georgia out of business because we're doing that. The other question I heard was, if someone was to relocate into Georgia permanently, would they have to get Georgia's license? Yes, of course. This is only a temporary thing. And the Georgia board they can say it's 1 year, they can say it's 2 years. The Georgia board still controls the psychologists who live in Georgia. All this is allowing is a temporary situation for these psychologists to do telemedicine, again, 30 days for face-to-face. Also, the question was, is there a psychologist from Georgia going to be on this board? Yes. The national compact, or the 7-state or 8-state compact, we would have a participating vote on that compact, and we'd be able to regulate what they say. Another question was, do they have to have a background check? Yes, they do. There's 4 different places in the bill which talks about the fact that they do have to have a background check, and that if something was to happen, Utah would be required, the board would be required to tell Georgia that this person is a bad actor and had problems in this previous state. And I asked for questions, sir.
Are there any questions? I don't see any. Wait a minute, we have one? Chairman Powell?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You mentioned something about telemedicine. Would this have anything to do with these psychologists from other states that are beaming in and doing consulting? I know this day of psychology is changing so much. You see these commercials on TV about call this phone number, give me your credit card number, which that's kind of skitty to me, but would this have anything to do with any of that, to try to put some parameter about these folks that are doing when you mentioned the word telemedicine or telecommuting, does this have any effect on those type of folks?
I do not know that for a fact. I've never seen one of those commercials, Chairman Powell. I do know that, again, the Georgia board could say, if we don't want that to happen, then you're not allowed to do that. This is only, so the Georgia board has complete control over its psychologists who operate in and out of Georgia. So if the Georgia board said, we don't want those kind of commercials or those kind of folks practicing, then the Georgia board can take them off the compact.
Well, in reality, we know that we can't control the TV, nor can we control 800 phone numbers or anything else over the internet. So we're just talking about psychologists who would come from out of state to come into Georgia.
Yes, sir. But again, they'd have to be a doctor. They have to have the same, actually, you have to have more education. This compact would require these people who in Utah to operate in Georgia. They have to have a continuing education course of 3 hours every 2 years, which is not currently required by Georgia. So the strictures is actually more or just as good as any Georgia psychologist if they want to operate in Georgia.
Any other questions? I don't see any more.
Chairman, if I'm allowed to, I'd like to present House Bill 39 as well, sir. That's a physical therapy compact. Again, the military is requesting this. I don't know why they're requesting this, but this is something that they want, we're asking Georgia to do. Again, 19 states have already joined the physical therapist compact. I can name them for you if you'd like. All of them are, all of our military competitors have this compact, and we do not. Again, in this compact, it has been established. It's much more, it's been around for longer. It costs only $45 per person to join the compact. Again, they have to purchase a compact for every state. So let's say you're in Utah. If you want to work in North Carolina, you got to buy a compact for that. If you want to buy Tennessee, you have to buy one for that one. So it's not like this willy-nilly. You get to practice in all 23 states if we were to join. You have to buy a compact for each one. Again, there is a background check is required. Each state has a physical therapist on the board. It takes about, someone asked before, how long does it take to get a degree? So if a person came to Georgia, it takes about 4 months to get a licensure in Georgia. So again, that's 4 months. Of course, I'm doing this for the military, that the military spouse would not be able to practice in Georgia currently. Again, as the nursing compact, this database is already in place. So there should be no cost to Georgia. I've talked to the Secretary of State about this. There's no cost to Georgia. There's no database that has to be created. Again, physical therapists, there are too few physical therapists in Georgia, not too many. And this, I think, would be a help this physical therapist situation in rural Georgia especially. Again, if they move here, they have to join. If they move here permanently, they have to get a license here in Georgia. And again, the board has this power to enforce its own rules. If a bad actor was, they would be required to report the bad actors. And if Georgia didn't like this bad actor, they could revoke that bad actor's compact privilege. And again, it's voluntary for all the physical therapists who want to join the compact from Utah, Tennessee, or whatever like that. Do you have any questions, sir?
Representative Drenner.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Could you just refresh my memory in particular about the nursing compact? Did that pass last year? Do you recall?
It did not. Again, I'm not asking for a nursing compact, and I'm not going to come to you for a nursing compact. The military wants the physical therapy compact and the psychology compact. They're not asking for this nursing compact. And I'm not sure, to be honest with you, I don't know why they don't want that one, but I'm not going to come to you asking for a nursing compact.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for clarification, on 39, only on HB 39. Now, is this one exclusive to military, or is it open? Is this compact open, or is it exclusive to military?
It's open.
It's open.
It's open to everyone.
Okay. A follow-up on the nursing, and I can understand you're not bringing it. The problem is much like we have on heating and air, even major mechanics. They spend 20 years working on the most complex situations in the world, and unfortunately local associations say they aren't qualified. We'll get there one day.
Chairman Martin.
Thank you. I think the gentleman just answered my question. So this is, if this passes, although it's requested by the military, it is open to everyone, because my question was going to be, isn't it true that other spouses may accompany someone into a state for reasons that require a move, and they too would have to be waiting months? And I think the gentleman answered the question. I wanted you to just affirm that on the record, that it was open to other than military spouses.
It is open to other than military spouses. One more thing I'd like to add is the compacts, this is not a new thing. We have over 200 compacts out there. Your driver's license is a compact. It's a compact with all 50 states. It's a form of federalism. It's saying we can't get the national, and the reason why the military is asking us to do this is because they can't get the federal government to do it, because they're inept. They can't push this stuff. We can join some other states, most of them in the South, all of them are military competitors, to join this compact. It's a form of federalism, which I hope people appreciate.
Chairman Knight.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And two, my question is not necessarily regarding the military, and I understand that, but it's everybody else. And a concern also is telepsychology, getting into practicing psychology over the internet, if you will. has our state board looked at that and weighed into that and to?
They approve it. They want to have this. And again, this is another rural development kind of thing. You know, a lot of these rural people can't get a psychologist to go to these rural counties. So this is something that both boards want.
But I appreciate that. That's a valid point. But sometimes I think when we start to allow, especially when we get into healthcare providers from outside the state, who are they employed by? You know, who's supervising? You know, do we have control from a perspective and licensure point of view over them?
Yes, sir, we do. I mean, again, the e-passport, I have an example of it here. It's very regulated. It's not willy-nilly. Sorry, I don't have a copy of it at this point. The e-passport has to be purchased for each state. It's regulated just like everything else is regulated. And again, Georgia board can say we don't want this guy and he can't practice here anymore.
One last question,
yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, if you will. We're starting to see an integration into healthcare.
I'm sorry?
There's an integration into healthcare.
Yes, sir.
In which we're starting to see, just say it bluntly, health insurance companies also are getting into providing health care. So I do have a concern from a perspective of the health insurance industry employing or going through up under them health care providers that you know can be put into plans, and you've got to use the telepsychology perspective. In other words, it's further allowing this integration, vertical integration. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Again, sir, and I guess it's this philosophy. I mean, do we want more telemedicine? Do we want more healthcare professionals in Georgia, or do we want less of them? This is a way we can provide that with a fairly low cost, especially to our rural areas.
All right, round two of questioning. Representative Williams. Okay. Representative Drenner. Carla?
Yes. No,
Did you punch your luck? Technical glitch. Any other questions? Hearing none, thank you,
sir.
Chairman Belton. All right, here's what we're going to do. We don't want to put just one bill on the calendar, so what we're going to do is see what comes in out of committee today. And we may set two calendars tomorrow morning, but we're not going to set a calendar today. We are adjourned.